are gonna get crazy!
Most everyone's mad here.
Good morning, good day, and good evening, everyone, and welcome to AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast. How are you all doing today? I hope you had a wonderful weekend. I know I certainly have. In fact, me and my family, we actually went on a little trip just up north, and funny enough, we managed to find a way to even have a vacation despite the fact that I am in an area where it's practically a full-on lockdown, but we definitely made the most out of it, and it definitely was a beautiful time. Now, before we do begin, I just would like to go and state that I do apologize if it does seem like I'm a little bit sleepy or if it seems like I am a little bit off today. And that is because yesterday I actually did get my booster shot. And in case you don't know, the thing with booster shots is that they don't affect you on the day of, but the day after you, oh boy, it'll be ready to hit you like a ton of bricks. Like, yeah, my arm is a little bit sore. In fact, you can actually see it. It's right here. Like, if you can, yeah, you'll probably notice it. Like, it might seem like a little bit of a rash, but it's like around this area. In fact, it's like kind of a bump where I did get my shot. Like, it does hurt a little bit. It feels a bit like a bruise, but that I'm perfectly fine with. I don't mind like something that would feel a little bit like a bruise. Just don't touch it. And like, if you do touch it, then I'll just go, ow, you know, it's something simple like that. So that I don't mind. Oh, I did get a subscriber. Thank you so much, Daniel is the Vasquez. Awesome for you. But anyways, as I was saying, there are other side effects though, and those are the ones that are even worse than just getting a little bit of a pain on your arm. Like, I admittedly did not get a good sleep last night. In fact, I might have gotten a little bit of a fever because I was just sweating on my bed while I was sleeping. That, and also I woke up with like a huge headache, which apparently does come with the package with the booster shot. So that's why today I'm not like fully 100% in terms of how I usually am, but I am doing my best to like, you know, to keep at it, to continue through my day. And even though I am facing these side effects, I know that they are short term, and this should not deter you from actually getting a booster shot, because I know very well that even though like these little side effects, they are short term, but in the long run, it will pay off absolutely beautifully, knowing that I will be protected from COVID. So this is all to say that if you guys haven't gotten your booster shot yet, if you can, then please do so. Not just as a recommendation, but nowadays, like, it's more and more important to do so, to the point where it should be considered mandatory to have your booster shot. Especially if we all work together, then the sooner we can actually go and end this pandemic. I know I've been saying that for the past few years, but often we have to keep staying optimistic in order to actually see the light at the end of the tunnel. But anyways, now with that out of the way, we do have a show that we got to go through. So I would like to go into the chat wall, and I would like to ask you all, are you all ready for today's episode of AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast? Let me hear it, folks. Let's see now. Are people prepared? Yes. Okay, some people, okay. There we are. Here we are. I was waiting a little bit to see if people are going to be prepared. Okay, so that is nice to see. That's very good. And with all that said and done, it is now time that we shall go and get things started. And with our first story that we have for you, we are actually going to be looking at a trailer. A trailer in which it's a movie that we've heard for a while that is in production, but after every release date, it seems like it would be delayed and then delayed and then delayed and then delayed. But it seems like now 2022 will officially be the release date, especially now that we did get our official first major look at this. So, with that said and done, let's go ahead into our first story as we shall check out the trailer for the Bob's Burgers movie. So let's go and check this one out.
Are you hungry for something good? Something juicy. How you doing? What? Something beefy.
What is going on?
Ta-da! Fresh hot burgers, sexy burgers.
Len.
What? It's summer, and sex sells, baby!
Big things are coming for summer, Tina. Take off those bulky jeans to be more aerodynamic. Oh, you're doing it already. Great.
Big things like that heat rash you get sometimes?
Bigger.
Stay low, follow my lead.
Come see.
How about what?
Just the gasp is great, thank you.
Like this?
I think we got it. That last one was good.
Okay.
Not what I was expecting.
I'm the marketing department. I took Jean's burger suit, let out the crotch a little bit, and bam.
A burger with a bikini on it?
Yeah. I get it. No questions from this guy.
And that is the trailer for the Bob's Burgers movie, which will be coming out on Memorial Day on May 27th. Even though it says that it's going to be in theaters, well, there's a part of me that says, yeah, I doubt that, because it's not going to be up to the studio that will decide if the movie will come out in theaters. It's going to be COVID. And I mean, we already got Turning Red that's going to be on Disney+, so just saying that there might be a chance that maybe Bob and his family will also go on Disney Plus too. But maybe he'll be in theaters, but ultimately we'll see. We don't know what the future does hold. And before I do begin, I just want to go and start things off by clarifying that, to be very honest, I honestly haven't really seen episodes of the Bob's Burgers. I have seen clips of it and stuff like that, but I'm not necessarily all that familiar with the Bob's Burgers series myself. I remember way back, like when the show like first started, like I did get curious and I wanted to check out how the show is, like just to start things off. Like this was back when I really was into watching the animated Fox series like Family Guy and The Simpsons, and I decided, why not? Let's check out Bob's Burgers. And after watching the first episode, I was like, nope. That kind of sucked, honestly. It was not for me. So I decided to pass on it, and apparently that seemed to be a bit of a mistake, because later on, Bob's Burgers just became a phenomenon and became better and better after every season and after every episode. Now, granted, it is true, a lot of people are saying that the first season of Bob's Burgers was just flat out not good, but then starting from the second season onward, that's when it really did pick up in terms of the episodes and in terms of the humor especially. So admittedly, yeah, it's kind of dumb of me to miss out on a show like this, especially when it has become in the ranks of something like Simpsons and Family Guy, despite the fact that Family Guy does have a pretty weird grudge against Bob's Burgers. Now, that is something that I do know, especially when, like, you'll probably find clips of them on YouTube or something like that, where you'll see, like, a whole set of different Family Guy jokes where they're just making fun of Bob's Burgers and they're just constantly attacking Bob's Burgers for some odd reason, like even like way into the prime of Bob's Burgers, like when it really got a massive fan base. So I know there was that weird thing going on, but that says more about Family Guy than it does about Bob's Burgers. But anyways, this is all to clarify that yes, I am a little bit aware of it. I have seen clips of it, but I have yet to like fully watch like a whole bunch of episodes. I know that if I want to, I do got Disney Plus, so if I want to watch the episodes, I could just go and check it out there. But anyways, back onto what we just saw with the Bob's Burgers movie. I will admit that when it comes to this trailer here, it actually did a pretty solid job in actually selling the movie aspect of the Bob's Burgers movie, like really emphasizing the fact that this isn't just a extension of the Bob's Burgers series, that this is a full-on feature film, that this is going to be a big deal, and that they're going to, like, the Belchers are going to go on possibly their biggest adventure yet with this movie. And there are a lot of moments that, you know, you could tell that they're going to go and try to make it big, like, despite the fact that technically in here, they didn't necessarily clarify what is the plot line about, but you could definitely tell that there's like a lot of different mixed genres happening, like from sci-fi and then a bit of Western and then a bit of mystery, and maybe a bit of fantasy as well. Like they show like a whole bunch of different stuff that's going on. Like even at this part here, you just see like mad doctors, a rock band, spaceships going on. Like, you see all this is happening at the same time, and you know there's going to be, like, this big adventure that the family has to go through, and there's just... I think, really, it has a bit of that less is more mentality, where they're just showing a whole bunch of random stuff that don't seem to connect with one another, and yet, you watch this, it is promising that it's going to throw in so many things at you all at once. Like, there probably is some sense behind it, but you just see all these things happening and you don't even know what it is or what it's all about. In fact, even in terms of trailers itself, like in terms of trailers, this is relatively short. This is literally just 90 seconds long. Usually trailers would go for like 2 or 2.5 minutes. So yeah, this one does feel a little bit like it's just a teaser trailer. I don't know if this is like a full legitimate trailer or there is going to be a bigger, more extensive trailer that will be coming soon in the future. I don't know. It's kind of weird that they do call it an official trailer and not like a teaser trailer, because it does feel like a teaser. It doesn't explain a whole lot to us, but they do show like just tiny snippets of just random things that are happening at once. Or like even like this moment with the strange little creatures, like when the fridge did they ever come up in, like did these characters ever show up in Bob's Burgers? Like, I don't know, like there are some things that like even would seem a little bit out of place, but again, probably, or like even this like scientist guy that's like trying to twist the nipples of this King Triton statue. There's just so many crazy things that are happening, and yet it does seem rather interesting. And like, even on the aspect that is like legitimately Bob's Burgers, like they did manage to get the tone right. Like there are a few bits here and there that do sell well in terms of the humor that they got. Like probably one of the funniest scenes for me is like you just see Tina riding the horse with I think it's her crush, or like with another boy, like this part.
Take off those bulky jeans to be more aerodynamic. Oh, you're doing it already. Great.
Just like this guy just randomly taking off his jeans while riding on a horse. You know, like, okay, like there's a lot of these weird moments that I will admit it's actually funny, and honestly, I'll give it, or like here's another good one, like especially the whole thing that they're presenting, like they're presenting the mom. I forgot her name, unfortunately, but like where she's wearing the burger costume and like putting on a bikini for like to add the sexy angle to it.
Took Jean's burger suit, let out the crotch a little bit, and bam.
A burger with a bikini on it?
Yeah. I get it. No questions from this guy.
I was like, the dude is like perfectly okay with it. Yeah. So honestly, I will admit this is actually a pretty solid trailer where it's kind of minimal, but still it is pretty effective in terms of getting people curious into what this is all about. Even for someone like me who's not too familiar with Bob's Burgers, you know, I would be willing to go and check this out and see like what the whole thing is all about. Like, one thing I do hope is that it's not going to be the same kind of movie based on animated series where it's just for the fans, you know, like even newcomers can jump in and they can really enjoy the crap out of it, you know, that like hopefully it will be something in the levels of like the Simpsons movie or even South Park Bigger, Longer, and Uncut. But who knows how this is going to be, but so far from what I've seen with this Bob's Burgers movie, they are selling things pretty well, and we'll see how it'll go. Maybe it'll work out, maybe it won't, but so far, you know, it got me curious. It did get my attention, so the trailer did a pretty solid job. And again, if you are curious as to when you can go and watch it, well, keep in mind, they are saying right now that it will be coming out on the big screen on Memorial Day. But then again, considering how things are with the pandemic, you never know if maybe they'll just move this onto Disney Plus or Hulu for you Americans. I don't know. I don't think Bob's Burgers is on Disney Plus for the US, is it? Yeah, I think that's more of a Hulu thing. All right, but anyways, let's go into the chat wall, and I would like to ask you all, what do you think of the Bob's Burgers movie trailer? Did you guys enjoy what you just saw? And especially if you guys are a Bob's Burgers fan, what is your opinion from what we have seen so far with this trailer for the movie? Let me know what you all think. Okay. I've never seen any of the episodes of Bob's Burgers, but I will admit this looks all right. The story seems pretty vague so far, but the animation gives off a Simpsons movie vibe, and the voice acting seems okay. If I ever decide to see the film, I'll definitely need to find a way to marathon the series before it drops. Also, why do the alien dudes you see at one point look like ugly dolls? With that in mind, the film might be... Hold on a sec. The film might be a must-watch if it has a song with Nick Jonas calling everyone ugly. Yeah, that is definitely true. I never thought of that, actually. Like at one point you see the random alien creatures. Yeah, they do actually look like a bunch of ugly dolls. Oh my god. I wouldn't be surprised if that is actually the thing that they are referencing, but oh my god, it's been, you know, it's honestly been a long time since like I've seen ugly dolls or even thought about ugly dolls. The last time really was with that animated movie from like, what was it, 2019? I don't know, that I didn't really like it anyways. Okay. But anyways, let's see. Wow, there's a lot of people here who, wow, you guys have not seen I don't know if there's a lot of people in the chat wall who have actually seen the Bob's Burgers series. Everybody's just writing down, like, everybody begins with like, well, as someone who hasn't seen Bob's Burgers, I have never seen this show, but, you know, it's kind of funny, actually. Anyways, I've honestly never seen any episodes of Bob's Burgers, but from the clips I've seen along with this trailer, it seems rather good. I'll probably watch the show and later the movie whenever I can. I don't have much to say except I saw some memes when they compared the visuals of the show versus the visuals of the movie based on that show. Yeah, that is also another thing that a lot of people have talked about, and it is a little bit of a trend where when it comes to movies that are based on animated series, they always do this thing where when they are translated to feature films, they always add additional shadowing. Like usually the colors would just remain completely flat in the show, but then when you would go into a feature film, then they add a bit more complexities and they add shadowing. Like going back into the Ugly Dolls picture, you see like not just regular shadows, but they really went complex with the shadows to really emphasize the shape of the characters and even how they are behind, you know, the like how there are trees above them that are also casting the shadows with their leaves. Like they really went pretty intricate. They went pretty intricate with this. And even like there are some parts where like sometimes the shadows are not as present, where they just show the average, you know, just the characters being average. There's like a little bit of shadows there, but you know, whenever there are shots that require like a major amount of shadowing, like often they would try to go and make it more prominent. Like that's how you could tell that there is like a bit more of a budget that is given compared to how things are in the show. It's because of shadowing, but still though, it is kind of a nice touch. It's a welcome, appreciative touch, and it's kind of like a bit of a tradition per se when an animated show would go onto the big screen. And like there are plenty of other stuff that you could find that is kind of like that. I think SpongeBob had a little bit of that in his movie, or at least in the first movie. There is also the Simpsons movie has absolutely done that. And I think I remember even some anime movies like Yu-Gi-Oh! The movie. I do recall the colors and the shadowing is a lot richer than what you would get in the show. So I don't know. That seems to always be a thing for some reason where whenever animated TV characters go on the big screen or when they have their own feature film, they would include shadowing. All right, let's see what else do we have here. Have I read? Let's see. Yeah, okay. We actually do have someone who has seen it. I am really excited for this movie. I watched all the episodes and I like them, and I hope this will be like the Simpsons movie. Okay. They're Louise's toys. Oh, is it Louise or... Okay, anyways, to be honest, I never really watched any of the episodes of Bob's Burgers. I only seen short clips of the show, and I thought it was pretty funny. While watching the trailer for the movie, I thought it was well done with good animation, good jokes, and characters. The beginning part makes me think it looks like a Burger King commercial. I didn't have much to say, but fans will have a blast with this when it comes out on Memorial Day. Also, today is my dad's birthday. Oh, well, tell your dad that we all said happy birthday. But yeah, honestly, that is actually pretty true. And that's one thing I forgot to actually comment is the fact that like for a good portion of this trailer, like at least like apparently for 22 seconds, like the first 22 seconds of it, like it feels like it's just an entire commercial for a burger where you just hear sexy music going on while they're showing you all the different elements of a burger. Like, just, let's just hear that again. Hold on a sec.
What? Something beefy.
What is going on? Ta-da! Fresh hot burgers, sexy burgers.
Lynn.
What? It's summer, and sex sells, baby!
Like, honestly, I think it's because of that element, that gag, where they have her, wait, just want to double check something. I just realized.
And sex sells. It's sexy burgers.
Lynn.
What? It's summer and sex
Wait,
sells,
hold on.
baby.
I think I just realized. I was like, wait, did he say her name? I honestly forgot, actually. But anyways, like, yeah, she's pretty much wearing the entire burger and having a bikini and trying to go into the sexy angle to sell it, which, you know what? It kind of makes the joke work a little bit. So, you know what? Good on the trailer, man. Good on the trailer. Let's see. Who else do we have here? Oh, okay. I've seen Bob's Burgers and I love it and a fan of the series. Haven't seen all the episodes, but I watch a majority of it to the point that I know the show, jokes, and characters. I'm super excited for the movie and have been waiting for this movie for 2 years thanks to COVID. And it will be Bob versus Maverick at the Memorial Day weekend at the box office. Oh, wait. Maverick. Oh, is it going to be is that going to be when Top Gun is going to be coming out? Oh, this will be interesting. I'm not going to lie. Well, obviously, I think Top Gun is going to be like #1 at the box office. But still, though, Bob's Burgers can do pretty decently on its own, It could be a case like, Sing. Like, Sing has done tremendously well for itself, even though it never got into first place at the box office, whether it be the first or even the second. Let's see. I'll read one more comment before we go, and I'll go and move on to the next story here. Let's see. Yeah, okay. I'll go into this one. I remember watching the first episode of Bob's Burgers and it was a bit meh to me, but as I watched more episodes, I was starting to really get into the series. I know that the original cast is in it, but who will be the cast in terms of newcomers in the film? Also, I remember watching a pilot where Bob and Linda were supposed to be cannibalistic in the original concept. Oh, what? Did they just recreate Sweeney Todd but for burgers in the pilot? Linda. Okay, I think that's who the name was. Yeah, as you guys could probably tell, I'm not all that familiar with Bob's Burgers. Yeah, Linda is the okay. Linda is the one dressed up in the burger, acting all sexy. Okay, that makes sense. Thank you. Well, too late. We're already at the end of this part, but anyways, all this to say that so far, this trailer is actually pretty intriguing, and again, keep in mind that for now, it is going to be scheduled to be released on the big screen on Memorial Day, May 27th. All right, so trailer time is already done. No, I don't have any more trailers, but moving right along to our next story, we're actually going to be diving deep into a controversy. Yes, once again, we are diving into the realm of non-fungible tokens. And if you guys have been watching AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast, you know that I've already talked about NFTs a few times, actually, with the last time being the whole Tara Strong controversy, where she would make her directorial debut on a feature film that would be fully funded by NFTs, and how that got major backlash, and the way that she handled the entire thing, well, it's not that admirable, or at least not as admirable as her voice acting talents. But anyways, with that said, there is actually another voice actor that decided to step into the realms of NFTs, and let's just say that this is another case where, well, it did not go well. In fact, it went as well as the Tara Strong one. And with that said, hold on. Okay, just needed to burp. Anyways, let's get into Troy Baker. Yes, the Troy Baker controversy. Now, maybe some of you are familiar with voice actor Troy Baker, whom, if you have played The Last of Us, this is the guy who actually voiced Joel. Now, you might be wondering, what the fridge is this guy doing entering into the realm of NFTs? Well, it's actually a way that, like most things with NFTs, the grand majority of the internet just simply did not approve. And just going down here from my source on IGN, now the big thing with it is that Troy has decided to partner with a company called Voiceverse, which specializes in AI-powered voice NFTs. Now, what the fridge is that? Well, apparently it is NFTs that are selling text-to-speech mechanics, or like basically text-to-speech softwares where you would have a specific voice that would go and read whatever dialogue that you may have. But this time around with Voiceverse, they want to have it based on specific people. In fact, let me go and read from my source here on IGN, where it states, Baker, who is most famous for his role as Joel in The Last of Us, revealed on Twitter that he is partnering with Voiceverse, a company that helps create and promote AI-powered voice NFTs. These text-to-speech voices are designed with the intention of being used to create audiobooks, podcasts, read scripts, and other projects that require voiceover without the need of an actual voice actor. And in the source itself, in the tweet that Troy Baker put out, he stated, "I'm partnering with Voiceverse NFT to explore ways where together we might bring new tools to new creators to make new things, and allow everyone a chance to own and invest the IPs they create. We all have a story to tell. You can hate or you can create. What will it be?" So basically just adding in a fun little tagline to go and promote his little Voiceverse partnership. But from there, like I said before, considering that it's something with NFTs that are being involved, the grand majority of reactions that he got is mostly of disappointment and serious backlash. In fact, here are just a few tweets that responded to what Troy Baker is doing, and a lot of people are upset. Like, here's one example from a user named Mango. "Troy, this isn't just an I hate NFTs for the sake of something to hate thing. NFTs have such huge consequences. You can hate or you can create is so petty and such a middle finger to all the artists who have been affected negatively by NFT. You're better than this." We also got another one here. This is from Bison Guy Kelly Sexhorn, in which Bison states here, this is an outrageously bad idea. On top of the NFT bump, here is an AI tool that can render voice actors useless. You're not only pulling up the ladder for voice artists just finding their feet, you're also devaluing your own work. Staggeringly, blisteringly terrible. And I'll just go and find one more additional comment to just go and read. This is from Denise, where Denise states here, super disappointed. So many artists I know are victims of art theft due to NFT marketplaces. This enriches nobody but the wealthy, and least of all, the art community. Do better. You know what? I'm going to go and read one more from the Notorious CAT, and Notorious states here, just a reminder, we already have a way to support creators and give away to own things. It's called an invoice and contract. No NFT acts as an automated proof of ownership in and of itself. Now, excuse me as I toss this whole ill-conceived post into the void. So, as you can imagine, not many people, in fact, almost nobody, is a fan of this new thing that Troy Baker is doing. And even not long after he made that post, he had to go and make a response to what has happened. In which he would go and state here as a response on Twitter, I always want to be a part of the conversation, even if sometimes that finds me in the midst of a loud one. Appreciate y'all sharing your thoughts and giving me a lot to think about. I'm just a storyteller out here trying to tell my story to whomever will hear, and hope y'all will forgive me for that. Bad attempt to bring levity. Anyways, feel free to resume the conversation or not as you please. I appreciate those with truth showing it, those with support offering it, and those with anger doing the best way to express it. But that wasn't enough. He also went on his own podcast where he had to go and fully address the issue, because even this kind of like little apology didn't really do much to try to calm the waters in terms of the backlash that he got. So on the day after the post was made, he went on his podcast called Play, Watch, and Listen, where he went into more detail about his reasonings why he even joined that company in the first place, in which he stated here, while I understood that an NFT was a component to this, that's not what I got involved with. I don't know how I feel about NFTs. Someone presented a platform to me that said, hey, here's a tool that we're going to be able to bring valuable resources to creators, independent creators who want to work in animation and video games or other applications. And by the way, just a fair warning, there will be some swearing in the following part. And I was like, fuck yeah, I want to be a part of that because that's the problem. He even continued and said, the intention I had behind this was like, hey, if some independent game maker wants to have me in their game and they can't afford me and they can do that now, great. And he can own the rights to this and own that in perpetuity. That's the problem, right? Artists not being supported by their art. That's what I wanted to do. And I was like, this is great. He would then continue on and even concluding this by saying, to everyone out there, regardless of what you said, I want you to know that I really thank you for your patience and I thank you for the opportunity to learn. This is what I've tried to do my entire life, is learn how to tell my story better, learn how to speak better, and I learn new words and I get shit for it sometimes, but I want to do that because I just want to learn how to effectively communicate. And so today I really recognize that fact that me trying to do that was just a fucking bad look, and everybody who says that was a shitty thing to say, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And I want to apologize for that. I wish that I had phrased it differently, and I welcome people's thoughts about this. I want to learn more about this technology. I want to learn more about this space, and I want to learn more about how people feel about this. So that's pretty much the big thing that is currently going on with Troy Baker and his attempt of entering into the realm of NFTs, especially with the fact that he got significant backlash out of it. Now, if you guys watch this podcast, then you know very well about what is my stance on NFTs. I am definitely not a supporter of this, and the more that I keep seeing like NFTs being in the news or keep being discussed on social media, the more that it is pretty prominent and pretty obvious how a lot of these are just scams, a lot of these are just Ponzi schemes, and basically the reason why it's been so chaotic with NFTs is because there are no fundamental rules onto it. There's nothing that's been regulated about them, so it allows people who invest in it to do whatever they want and pretty much build this entire foundation, which is on scams. It's basically on practices that honestly would not even exist in other forms of economic systems because they would be considered illegal. And that's the big thing that's currently happening with NFTs, not to mention the consequences that they do have on the environment and even towards artists, where art theft is unfortunately extremely common in this. So seeing someone like Troy Baker enter into this realm, or seeing any voice actor enter into this realm, it's honestly extremely disappointing. And especially when it comes to this thing, the whole voice verse thing, okay, honestly, I have a lot to comment on this, and there's just so much wrong with what Troy Baker wants to do. Like, okay, I get it that the dude had the best intentions. He wants to go and help out independent creators, you know? He wants to give them a helping hand in order for them to bring their vision to life with their cartoons and with their video games and all that kind of stuff. But man, the way he did that, it's like kind of the complete opposite, where he ends up screwing over so many more people, more so than he is legitimately helping others. He had such a narrow vision of what he wanted to do that he's not he never realized the destructive nature of what he has actually done. And the big thing, it's not just on the factor that it is NFTs, but it's NFTs of AI voices. Now, AI voices is kind of like a whole different subject altogether. And as someone who is getting into the realm of voice acting, or who is starting a career in voice acting, I am very well aware that AI voices are extremely controversial, and for many voice actors, they kind of view them as the enemy. You know how there are people out there, or there are some like old people that would say like, oh, in the future our jobs are going to be replaced by robots. You know, like that kind of mentality where people have been opposed to technology because one day the robots and the technology and stuff like that would end up replacing people's jobs and stuff like that. That's the case with AI voices, where I've actually seen ads of people trying to promote AI voices as a way that they don't have to actually go and pay voice actors to read their things. They just go and hire an AI voice to do it for them. But the funny thing with AI voices is that they don't generally work, or they don't sound genuine. They don't sound human. And like you guys have definitely heard AI voices before. Like if you have an iPhone or if you have a smartphone, then it does come with an AI voice, where if you have an iPhone, for example, you would hear Siri. And Siri is just nothing but a bunch of AI voices. And never once when you would listen to something like Siri, or you would hear Alexa, like never once would you think that the voice is genuinely human. Like they all sound automated. They sound more like a robot. And if you want to try to pass that off as legitimate voice acting, to have like, you know, to develop a character based on that AI voice, unless you want to go and create like a robot, for example, like Otto in WALL-E, then it's not going to work. It's just going to sound completely fake. And the fact that this is the kind of thing that nowadays they're trying to promote themselves as a legitimate replacement for voice actors, like that's honestly pretty terrible. And especially with what Troy Baker is doing with this, like not only supporting NFTs, which is more harmful for artists and for creators, but now that he's putting himself in a venture where not only screwing himself, but pretty much screwing over other voice actors because he's promoting something that's meant to replace people like Troy Baker. It's just completely wrong. It's just flat out horrible. I don't know, like I don't understand why he would think it's even a good idea to lend his voice into an automated machine, and then other people would go and use it if they can't afford him. Like, if you want a voice like Troy Baker, find someone who sounds like Troy Baker. Don't go and bring in some automated system to do it for you so that, oh, it sounds a lot like Troy Baker. Yeah, but it sounds like a freaking animatronic Troy Baker. It's honestly ridiculous. I don't know what the dude is thinking that this could help out people. Like, again, he's doing more harm than he actually is doing good. Now, the only silver lining from all this is that Troy Baker does understand that what he has done is actually wrong. And the way that he is handling the controversy, while not necessarily great, in fact, I wouldn't necessarily say it's good, at least he is putting an attempt to try to apologize for this. That he recognizes that people are upset with him. He understands that he's not all that knowledgeable when it comes to NFTs, and you know, nowadays he's going to try to go and put in the effort to be a bit more educated on the subject matter. At least I'll give him more credit to that. I know it doesn't seem like much, but compared to Tara Strong and how she is still reacting to the controversy where she would frame anybody who doesn't agree with her as a bully and a harasser and stuff like that, at least Troy is a bit of a step up compared to Tara Strong. And honestly, I will say right now that so far I've only seen one person who is a voice actor and actually did handle the NFT controversy very, very well, and that is actually Rob Paulson. Because if you guys don't know, Rob Paulson was actually invited to go and provide a voice for Tara Strong's Holidayverse project, her NFT movie. And apparently what happened was that he went onto social media and he revealed that he was going to step down from it, where he announced that NFTs are something that is something he doesn't fully comprehend, so he's just going to go and step back. And before he would get back into that project, he would have to go and learn or educate himself on the subject matter. And honestly, in that regard, I feel like that is a great move by Rob Paulson. You know, it's something that he doesn't fully comprehend. And so instead of actually just blindly jumping into it without understanding what he got himself into, he would just step back, learn what it's all about, why it's getting so much hate, and why is it so controversial before making another step. So honestly, good on you, Rob. That's a great step, and that's something that all other people should actually do before they would go and venture into something like NFTs. They should educate themselves. They should learn about why is it people are so upset about this, or why is it getting so many reactions like how it is right now. Granted, with Tara Strong, apparently she responded the same way, where she stated that, oh, but Rob Paulson is such a nice and kind man. Why would all the bullies and harassers go after him? Why would they keep doing it? It's like, oh my God, girl, calm your tits, seriously. But yeah, like you could see how nowadays there are so many varying reactions to how things are with NFTs. Some people would step back from NFTs and try to go and educate themselves. Some jump into NFTs and then they would get backlash, and then they decided, okay, I'm sorry, I'm going to go educate myself now. And then there were people like Tara who would jump into NFTs and say, if you don't agree with me, well, then you're the problem. You know, have a bit of that Ayn Rand mentality going on. And you know, the crazy thing is that it really shows how we are kind of in this dangerous market when it comes to NFTs, or it shows kind of this dangerous mentality, not just with NFTs, but in general, in terms of things that we don't necessarily know about, but we would get into them nowadays, like especially when it comes to like major topical issues, like not just NFTs, but also when it comes to politics or with social issues and stuff like that. There are some people who would go and immediately jump into it, and they would not have the slightest clue what it's all about. And some people would just go and fully admit to it, that they're not well versed, or they're not well researched on it, or the fact that they never showed interest before, and they would just go and still comment anyways, or they would still throw themselves into the ring. Like, I've seen so many times where, like, believe it or not, to this day, there are still some people who don't understand what NFTs are. Like, they still don't comprehend. And unfortunately, that's how NFT people rope into them. They go for the ones who are completely clueless. They would try to manipulate them thinking that it's all good and stuff like that. And that's where they would go and immediately get into the realm. They would get into the business. And then suddenly they would just see, and suddenly the people who were clueless just seemed so confused. It's like, why am I getting so much hate? I don't understand. I mean, I thought I'm just doing something good. And the truth is, like, they're perfect. You know, honestly, like, these voice actors, like, rather it be Tara Strong or Troy Baker, like, they're not doing it out of any malicious intent or anything like that. They were, you know, honestly, they were just dumb. And honestly, yeah, I know some people say, like, oh, it's not a nice thing to say. Like, it's not nice to call people idiots or stupid or dumb or anything like that. But trust me when I say that being stupid is honestly better than being something else or being called something else. Like, yeah, I don't know about you, but I personally would rather call people like Tara Strong and Troy Baker idiots instead of calling them con men or just calling them flat out con artists and just full on grifters who only care about the money. You know, sometimes being stupid is not necessarily the worst thing out there. Yeah, some people get highly offended by that, but trust me, there are worse things to be called than just stupid. And I think that really is the case when it comes to Troy Baker. This guy is just an idiot for immediately jumping into some kind of business venture that he completely has no understanding of what it's all about. Not just when it comes to NFTs, but even in terms of the AI voice business. That's something that no voice actor should go and get into unless they would go and actually get some royalties out of it. Like every time that mechanical voice is being used, they would have royalties. I think that should be something that could be kind of acceptable. And I know that, like, this topic of AI voices in general has often been very controversial for a long time. In fact, one great example, like a little story that I do know, in case you guys don't know, is actually related to TikTok, where at one point there was just one general female voice. And that female voice, like the woman who actually did provide that voice for like the female AI voice in TikTok, she would actually go and full on sue the company. Like, considering that it's her voice that is being used for, like, she originally recorded it for some small company before, but now the fact that it is being used on TikTok, like, she definitely would deserve a lot more money considering how huge of a platform TikTok is now. And she did end up winning the court case, but TikTok did end up removing her voice in the system itself. Like, they did pay the damages, but now they're using other different voices for TikTok, or at least AI voices. So yeah, that's another venture that Troy Baker should have never done. So honestly, yeah, in general, he's just a flat out idiot. And also, I just want to go and clarify, like, one thing that really does define on the fact that he is like Troy Baker is just a full-on idiot is going into something that is related to NFTs, thinking that somehow it would help creators. Now that is a flat out lie. I have never legitimately heard a story where NFTs actually did benefit the artist. Maybe there are some, but like they would be like 0.1, like the chances of that happening are like 0.01%. The rest of the time, they would often be the case where artists would end up being screwed over, or as I mentioned before, that it would have a prominent history of art theft. In fact, during the weekend, at the same time as the Troy Baker controversy was happening, apparently there's this one account that would go and take so many things from the internet and turn them into NFTs, whether it be websites or memes or pictures or anything like that. And one thing that this account has actually done is take YouTubers, where they would take the avatars of YouTube channels and they would go and sell NFTs, presenting them like, oh, you can buy this NFT of your favorite YouTuber. And they've done so many of them all without their permission. They did this to Saberspark. They did this to Pan Pizza. They did this to Cat Icarus. They've done so with so many different people. And by the way, yes, I was a bit curious. I was wondering, like, you know, I'm not really that big of a YouTuber. Yes, I did get over 100,000 subscribers on my channel, but would I be considered big enough to actually have that happen to me? Like, would these people even care to actually did this to me? And well, the answer apparently is yes, they would. And what you are seeing is actually a real thing, where on the website OpenSea, which is one of the biggest NFT collection website and one of the big NFT trading websites, there is a legitimate NFT of my channel, Electric Dragon 505, or as the NFT here is called, Electric Dragon 505 on YouTube. So you're trying to capitalize on my fame and capitalize on my YouTube channel to create your own NFT. Okay, let me go and ask you something. I have a bit of an important question to ask. Am I getting all this money? Like, whatever money is going to be invested on this NFT, am I going to profit off of this? Am I going to receive all the money that this will end up making? Is that how it works in the realm of NFTs? I don't know. Like, I haven't fully entered into that realm. I never, I never touched upon the business of NFTs myself. So I just want to know how that works. Am I going to get all that money, especially with the fact that, this is my channel, and that you are using my avatar that I did draw. So this is technically my art as well. So am I getting all the money on this? Is that how it works? Because I'll say this right now. If that's not really the case, if I'm not getting a single cent out of this, well then honestly, we're going to have a little bit of a problem here. And I believe that AniMat is going to make someone homeless and starving if they don't give me my freaking money. I mean, seriously, man, you want to go and like legit steal my profile, try to capitalize on my living, on my livelihood. You want to go and capitalize on that, just make a damn quick buck for your fucking little NFT. Huh? You want to really do that, man? You seriously want to do that? Trust me, you don't like it when I will be angry. You don't like it when I am angry. Because I swear to you, I will make you poor for the rest of your life if you want to take advantage of my livelihood just so you can make your fucking little money. I swear to God. Take that shit down or you will suffer the damn consequences. So as you can tell, I'm not really happy of the fact that this has happened. And so many other YouTubers feel the exact same way. Like, one person that I know is seriously upset at this is Saberspark. Now, Saberspark, he has been a pretty vocal critic of NFTs as well. And he's also, like, just like with me, Saber is also upset of the fact that he actually got his channel turned into an NFT. So from there, like, he did do a bit of a rant on social media, like on Twitter. And believe it or not, those NFT people, they would actually take his tweet, his rants on NFTs, and turn them into NFTs. I kid you not. And it really goes to show that there is no such thing as a good person who invests in NFTs. That really, honestly, what they did to Saberspark, that's just a full-on power move. Like, they didn't do that just because, like, they only see profits wherever they find on the internet. They only do that because they can. Like, they're just pissing, like, they really are just pissing in the wind. It's because they know that when it comes to NFTs, there are no legitimate regulations. There are no legitimate laws that NFTs need to go and abide. They know that there are no regulations that NFTs have to follow, just like any form of economic system. They do so just because they can. And that's why they're trying to go and keep pulling off these power moves. And this is another prominent example of how NFTs are far more harmful to artists than they are actually helpful, because really these NFT people are just doing it for themselves. They just want to go and cash in on a quick buck based on literally anything that they could find on the internet. They don't care about copyright rules. They don't care about who they're stealing it from. They only care about making their own profits, no matter what it is. Even if it is like a crappy drawing of a monkey or a lion or something like that, they're just in it for the money. And that's why I hope that very soon, like if this, like honestly, it's only going to get worse from here. And I feel like the whole controversy with NFTs is just going to significantly grow and grow and grow to the point where the government would have no choice but to step in and do something about it. That honestly, NFTs need to be regulated. And I mean, I know a lot of people are saying that, oh, NFTs should be outlawed. NFTs should be banned. No. NFTs just need to be regulated, because the thing is, all of these things that they are doing, they are scams, they are money laundering, they are Ponzi schemes, and they are theft, and like they're breaking so many rules. Like if there are regulations towards NFTs, all these NFT bros would be in prison right now. And the fact is, just putting in regulations alone would destroy the entire foundations of NFTs, and they would ultimately be rendered worthless. And honestly, that's at the point. I'm pretty much at the point where, yeah, like I can't believe that even I would be considered an artist who got their art stolen by NFTs. I mean, technically, as I said before, like I actually did draw this, like, you know, like not the dragon behind it, but like I did draw the I drew the avatar version of me, so that is technically my art. So honestly, I'm just pissed. And that's the whole thing with NFTs. And that's why if you guys still don't know what NFTs are, I encourage you to go and educate yourself. Do your own research, learn about what they are, and especially learn about what is the controversy of it? Why are people so upset? And why do NFTs have why do NFTs have massive backlash behind them? So please, if there is one lesson to take from all this, it's to educate yourself. Learn about why is it NFTs are so hated? Why is it that voice actors like Tara Strong and Troy Baker got so much hate for being involved with it? So honestly, moral of this story, just educate yourself. All right, so with that said and done, I would like to go into the chat wall, and I would like to ask you all, what do you all think about this whole NFT controversy, especially when it comes to Troy Baker and his involvement with the voice works? Do you guys understand the controversy? Are you guys a bit more on the side of Troy Baker with his good intentions? Let me know what you think. Okay. Let's see what we got here. Where the fridge is it? Okay, there we go. While not related, there are reports that NFTs have apparently hiked the electricity bill of New York citizens by consuming so much power. On top of that, a rampant scam that got many Steam and Discord users hacked to fund it and crypto in general. Troy Baker and Tara Strong should both feel responsible for perpetuating these scams and face repercussions like adults instead of pulling the "why are you so mean to me" card when confronted with criticism. Troy should really educate himself better on that. And yeah, honestly, I think that would be more towards Tara Strong because, well, Tara Strong does have a bit of a prominent history of having a very hard head. Troy Baker, he's just an idiot. He's just a dumbass that just doesn't really know any better and just gets himself involved in situations that he just doesn't fully understand and doesn't understand how it's a lot more destructive, even towards those that he wants to actually help, than actually being beneficial. So that's just one thing I want to clarify on that. Let's see what else we got here. Of all the NFT scams I've seen that aren't okay, VoiceVerse is really not okay. I mean, the intention of all is to literally put voice actors out of a job. And I'm glad that Troy Baker is realizing this is wrong. If I ever want to have fun with voice recreation algorithms, I'll just use UberDuck. At least there you can make La Frog from Flushed Away say cock and ball torture. Can VoiceVerse do that? I don't think so, Buster. UberDuck, eh? Okay, I am honestly pretty... Oh! Oh, that's what people use. Okay, is that the thing that people use, like, to take, like, SpongeBob's voice and make them say whatever they want? Okay, I've seen memes of that happen. I didn't know that's what they use. Okay, wow. But yeah, honestly, as a voice actor who's starting his business, I definitely do agree that when it comes to like these AI voice things, like they're just flat out terrible. In fact, the marketing of these things, like that seems to be their big sell. It literally is the fact that, hey, come and buy our thing. We're a lot cheaper than voice actors. Like literally, that's kind of like their marketing ploy. It's to put voice actors out of a job. And it's honestly very depressing to see. And especially for someone like me who is starting into voice acting, I feel like these are going to be major things that could end up becoming massive obstacles where they might slow down turning this into a full-time job. It's just ridiculous and it's frustrating. And especially with someone like someone like Troy Baker, he should have known better. Like really, oh yeah, put your voice in an NFT and like, oh, you'll help small creators. Yeah, but you're also going to help big creators so that they don't hire you because that NFT is going to be a lot cheaper than you. Freaking moron. Let's see what else we have here. Another NFT story, and now it's about Troy Baker, huh? As someone who enjoyed his work, this does make me rather sad, but I am glad that he is willing to apologize, that Rob Paulson decided to avoid them. All these NFT stories really show how desperate and pathetic many of these NFT sellers are. Not to mention the NFTs of profile pics of YouTubers like you, Kadikarus, Rebel Taxi, and Sabersparks. Remember kids, Windows plus G equals copying their audio NFT. Yeah, and that's also another thing, that's also another crazy thing, is the fact that there are ways that you can actually get around. Actually, you know what? Let me just try something. Okay, nice little NFT picture. Just want to see. Oh, would you look at that? Save image as. You know what? I'm going to right-click this thing. I'm going to right-click, and I'm going to save this thing. I'm going to put it on here. Yep, there we go. And would you look at that? I got myself an NFT. Yeah, and it's just a GIF. Hold on a second. Can I get a... Here, just put a quick look at that. Oh, would you look at that? There we go. I got it for free, folks. I got this son of a fish. Can you move on? Where is it? No. Fudge nabbit. Where did my... Hold on. Did I even press the right thing? Where did it go? Hold on a sec. Did it disappear? Ah, there we go. Hold on, spoilers for this. There it is. Okay. sorry it took a while to set this up, but yeah, there. Now I own it. This is mine. I have it on my computer. There, I have it. I don't care about the receipt because now I actually got the thing itself. I right-clicked it. Now it's mine. I don't care if they call me a thief because this is my thing, first of all. And even like with the whole voice first thing, you could probably do the same thing as well, that you could right click it and save. You don't have to go and actually buy the NFT itself. So really, like, how the fridge so really it's like, even at that, like, it's too easy to like lose money out of this because people would rather take it for free, especially when it's something that is not something physical to own and it's full on digital. Let's see. Let's see now. Damn, Matt, the way you curse the hell out of the guy in making NFTs out of you makes me want to grab my popcorn and see you roast this guy. For real, I'm sorry that this happened to you, and Troy Baker was an idiot to get himself into NFTs like what Tara Strong is doing. Again, NFTs is nothing but a scam, and people should learn that there are consequences. Yeah, that's definitely true. Oh boy. And yeah, like honestly, I did hear apparently that there are some people out there that they're ready to sue. Apparently, some people are thinking about forming together this class action lawsuit against OpenSea and against the people who are causing these NFTs. And if there is a link, or if there's anybody out there who is actually planning that, can I get in on this? Because, well, you see here, Yeah, I'm kind of a victim of this as well. So hopefully, like, honestly, if there is a legitimate class action lawsuit, honestly, I want in on this because, you know, I am a victim of theft on this, and this guy, like, you got this channel that's trying to capitalize on this, and honestly, I wouldn't want to go and get into this. I wouldn't want to go and like find my, you know, I wouldn't want to venture myself into this kind of crap. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, for the love of all things, did this Troy guy miss all the controversies involving NFTs in 2021, including from a fellow voice actor? He's not actually saying he'll stop the NFT project. He's just using the nice language that pretends he's listening to others. The text-to-speech thing with AI voices is stupid as F, that I wonder if he seriously believes it will make money, or that it would mean that he'd be out of a job. Good on Rob Paulson for stepping down to educate himself. Yeah, honestly, that will depend on the future, because really the only solution that Troy Baker has is to disassociate himself with VoiceVerse. Like, it is true that technically he didn't necessarily say that he's going to be stepping down. Like, he did apologize, but is he actually going to go and follow with his word? Is he going to actually listen to the criticisms and actually disassociate himself from all this? And he never really, I don't think he really did clarify that he would. And I mean, if he did, then good on him. If not, well then, well, obviously his apology are nothing more but words. Let's see what else we have here. I've said this before and I'll say this again. NFTs are nothing but a waste of space and a waste of money. Troy Baker really should have known better than to associate himself with NFTs. If anything, I feel at this point, celebrities need to distance themselves away from NFTs and do more research. At this point, you could make an entire grocery list of companies that would invest in NFTs. This is so bad that it's making Mr. Krabs blush. Yeah, honestly, sadly, there's just an increasing list of companies that are getting themselves into NFTs, and that's because, well, there's nobody stopping them, so of course they would jump into it. Even in terms of movies, like Disney is getting into it, Viacom CBS is getting into it, Warner Brothers is getting into it. I wouldn't be surprised if sooner or later that Sony would be getting into it. Like, I saw a comment before, someone said like, well, Sony Animation wouldn't do that. Oh, give it time, honestly. I'm sure eventually they would get themselves into the realm of NFTs. Just be a little bit patient. In fact, I'll say right now that I'm honestly very thankful of the fact that the Emoji Movie was released back in 2017. Because I'll say this right now. If the Emoji Movie was released like in 2021 or released in this year, I could guarantee you that Sony would go and make Emoji Movie NFTs. Like, that would be a full-on fact right there. I'm just saying. Oh, man. But thankfully, that did not happen. And some people are even saying, well, maybe it could go and happen with Spider-Man. And apparently, oh, wait, actually, someone even mentioned that AMC already did that with Spider-Man No Way Home NFTs. And honestly, if that already did happen, then yes, I think, well, Sony already got into the realm of NFTs. And don't be surprised when Across the Spider-Verse would be released. Maybe there will be some legit Spider-Verse NFTs. You never know. And I mean, with the whole verse obsession that NFTs actually do have, you never know if Spider-Verse could find themselves in that as well. Let's see what else we have here. What else? When I heard about the controversy, I am worried that voice actors and even celebrities wouldn't get paid enough because of NFT robots taking over in the future. Hopefully, I hope Joe Biden will take bigger action to stop NFTs. We don't want the entire planet being like WALL-E or the Mitchells vs. the Machines. Kind of ironic considering that WALL-E did end up becoming an NFT himself. Anyways, I'd rather stick to human actors instead of a bunch of robotic imposters. I just hope NFT psychos don't steal my art. Go Animate has better text-to-speech acting. Yeah, and that's also another example of how text-to-speech, how this AI text-to-speech voice is just really garbage. It's not a suitable replacement for actual voice acting. Because, like, when you watch something like Go Animate, have you ever thought that what they would say, oh, it sounds genuine, it sounds human? especially for those who would watch like those Caillou is Grounded videos. Like, do you actually hear anger coming from the dad? Do you hear Boris feeling actually angry? No, it's that same monotone voice of like, Caillou, you are grounded for 42,569,832,490 years. And then especially with the whole Caillou part, like when he would cry afterwards, it's like, So yeah, exactly. Do you want voice acting to be like that in the future? Hell no. I don't want a future where voice acting is going to be more reminiscent to freaking Caillou is Grounded. Okay, I'm going to read one more comment before we move on to our next question, because at this point, yeah, like I've already talked so much about this story alone. Let's see. What else do we have here? No, I think I've already gotten to you. Okay. The more I learn about what NFTs are, the angrier I get just hearing about it. Troy Baker's intentions are really going to screw over voice actors. I'm also very sorry for someone to take your name and turn it into an NFT. Hopefully you, Saberspark, and others get justice for this. Yeah, honestly, I am hoping as well. And again, if that lawsuit is happening, then someone please call me. I want in on that thing, because really, this is getting seriously out of hand. All right, so moving on to our next story, we actually got a very interesting announcement. It's an announcement that's not really an announcement, where technically Disney didn't officially say anything about it, but from what we've seen here, it is pretty official. And what I'm talking about is something that was actually discovered in the production notes of Ice Age Adventures of Buck Wild. Now, for those of you who don't know, production notes are basically, they're basically notes that are given to media journalists and film critics to help them get familiar with the people who worked on the movie, rather it be the actors in the film, like they would talk about Simon Pegg, or they would talk about the filmmakers, like the directors, the producers, the writers, and all that kind of stuff. So basically in here, they would go and highlight what they're trying to do with the Ice Age Adventures of Buck Wild, and mentioning why they would go and make this, how they're proud that they're bringing back the Ice Age franchise, and all that kind of stuff. So you might be wondering, why am I bringing this up? What's the deal with the production notes of the Ice Age Adventures of Buck Wild? Well, that is when you would go and look down upon one of the filmmakers, and when they talk about one of the co-writers, specifically Ray De Laurentiis, they actually provided some very interesting information, and I guess you could see accidentally leaked new info that is kind of big news, actually. Now, in here, they would talk about how Ray has a lot of experience working at different companies, rather it be at 20th Century, with Nickelodeon, Warner Brothers, Fox, and the Jim Henson Company. But what's even more interesting is that they also mentioned what he is currently working on right now. And let me go and read you that little excerpt right over here. Hold on a sec. There we go. Now, it states, he is currently developing an animated series based on a New York Times best-selling children's book and writing streaming movies for 20th Century Studios / Disney+. Okay, that sounds pretty interesting, but here's the real juicy part. The feature projects include the next installment in the Ice Age franchise, the next installment in the Rio franchise, and an animated feature version of the Night at the Museum movie franchise for 21 Laps Entertainment and Disney. Now, we already know about Night at the Museum. We already knew that Disney wanted to make another Night at the Museum movie, or specifically an animated Night at the Museum movie for Disney+. But the big thing that they have revealed in this is that not only is Disney going to be continuing more Ice Age movies, that they are going to be producing more Ice Age films exclusively for Disney+, but they are also planning a Rio 3. And I think that's kind of the bigger thing here, is the fact that there is going to indeed be a Rio 3 that will be coming soon to Disney+. Now, let me just go and clarify this right now. I am not excited for the Ice Age Adventures of Buck Wild. I'm not excited that Ice Age is going to be coming back in general. I just finished watching Hotel Transylvania Transformania, and I already just went through like one franchise that's been way too overdone. I don't need a frickin' another, especially one that is supposed to be over, but now suddenly Disney decided to dig it back up and decided to make a whole movie, like to make more feature films so that they could go and capitalize on it under their name. But now you add in the factor that they're also going to do it with Rio as well, the other prominent franchise that Blue Sky has created, or one of the very rare, or like probably the only animated franchise that Blue Sky has outside of Rio. And I will say right now, there's just something that feels a little bit off when it comes to making a Rio movie. And I don't know if you guys have heard, and this is honestly very unfortunate news. So you guys know that when it comes to like the main characters like Blue or the Anne Hathaway girl, they're blue macaws, right? That they are a specific kind of parrot that is considered rare, endangered even. Well, the sad news is, unfortunately, they're kind of extinct, or at least those in the wild are considered to be extinct. They're not 100% gone, but the only ones that do exist are the ones that are in captivity. Which right now, it kind of makes things a little bit awkward that Disney would go and bring that back, that they would go and bring Rio back after that unfortunate event has actually happened. And at that point, it does make me wonder, considering that these are movies that technically do have prominent environmental messages, are they going to bring this up? Like, I'll give them credit if they can actually do so, but still, it's kind of like the white elephant in the room, the fact that you want to go and make a movie that is based on a creature that has recently been announced to be extinct. That's kind of the big taboo thing that is currently happening right now. And unless they could go and actually bring up this factor, if they can go and bring up the fact that that this is kind of an issue, then honestly, I don't know. And especially at the end of the film, if I remember, at the end of Rio 2, I think Blue decided to say goodbye to his owner so that he could go and live in the wild. So that kind of raises a massive problem. Like, so now that the blue macaws or the wild blue macaws are extinct, what does that mean for Blue? What does that mean for the other characters? Are they all extinct? I mean, like, granted, like, it does have, like, you do have materials, but still, like, this is something that they do need to go and address the white elephant in the room. They need to bring this up because, well, let's be honest, when that movie is going to be coming out, everybody is going to be bringing it up, because if they're not, then I can guarantee you that the internet will, and it's just going to really leave a bad taste, and it's just going to make Disney look bad. And I mean, this ain't something that they could go and blame 20th Century or anything like that, and they certainly can't blame Blue Sky because they're dead. So really, it would just ultimately be all on Disney. And then there is the factor of Ice Age. Now, the thing is, with the 6th movie that they're doing with Buck Wild, technically it's not necessarily a sequel per se, but more of a spin-off, where the stars of the movie are actually Crash and Eddie along with Buck Wild. I mean, yes, they did show in the trailer that, you know, the original trio, Manny, Sid, and Diego, they are going to be involved with the feature as well, along with Manny's girlfriend. But still, though, it is more their movie, more so than it will be like the regular Ice Age trio. And when it comes to the upcoming movie that they're going to make, the one after Buck Wild, it does make me wonder, what are they going to do? Like, what more materials do you have? Like, are you going to go and make another spin-off? Are you going to do a spin-off that are based on different characters? Are you going to go and make just a sequel to Buck Wild? Like, are you going to make the Ice Age Adventures of Buck Wild 2? Because apparently Disney is going to go in an interesting direction. They're going to do something that is completely different than the direction that Blue Sky has put on. But then again, like the direction that Blue Sky did use for the Ice Age franchise, it just got completely hopeless after Collision Course. So I understand not following that route, but when it comes to like making more Ice Age sequels, like, what more can you do? What else are you going to go and create? What kind of spin-off are you going to do? Or what kind of sequel are you going to do? It's just, I feel like there might be several ideas that you can do, but then again, we are talking about the Ice Age franchise. And for me, I feel like that's another franchise that's just way too overdone. Like it's already over. It's already finished. I mean, technically the ending is supposed to be Collision Course, and that is an ultimate statement right there that this franchise should be left alone. We don't need any more Ice Age movies. They've been way too overdone. The characters have been way too overused. We need to move on. We need fresh material. We need something new. Instead of continuously seeing the same characters again and again and again acting stupid, we need something else. So honestly, I'm not necessarily in support of the idea of another Ice Age movie or making more Ice Age movie. But at this point, what did get me curious is the fact that, well, obviously Disney wants to do something completely different, so what are they going to do? Because there could be that very small chance that they could find an actual good idea to continue the Ice Age franchise and legitimately make it work. There is that tiny chance, but for now, I don't have a lot of optimism for it, and I'm really not excited for the Ice Age adventures of Buck Wild, especially with the trailer that they shown recently. It's just, oh boy, as we say in Quebec, ça fait dur. Eh boy, ça fait dur. So yeah, that's kind of the big thing that has been announced, is the fact that there will be an Ice Age 7 and that there will be a Rio 3. And overall, considering how people react to the whole Blue Sky controversy and how people, like, to this day are still very much upset of the fact that that Disney did shut down Blue Sky Studios, or that, well, I mean, I do understand their reasonings for it, but then again, considering how there are some people who are still extremely salty about that, I don't know if it really is that smart of a move to immediately go and start exploiting their franchises, to go and keep making stuff like more Rio sequels or more Ice Age sequels, like keep making more of those movies, but on a significantly lower budget and just released on Disney Plus. Like, you know what this is that Disney is legitimately making direct-to-home media sequels, and they're giving that treatment to Blue Sky now. I mean, that definitely is the feeling that I got when I saw, like when I saw the trailer for Buck Wild. So now that they're doing it with this, it's not leaving me enthusiastic with what they have in store for that. I mean, the Night at the Museum movie, that does sound pretty cool. Like that, honestly, like as a fan of the first film, I am curious to see what they're going to do with the animated feature. So that I know I'll be positively curious about. But when it comes to the others with Ice Age, and especially with the Rio movie, like unless they could find a clever idea and actually do address the recent issue about the fact that wild blue macaws are extinct, I don't know. It's something that I feel like it's kind of leaving me with a bad mouth about. So that I just wanted to go and insert my comments on that. Okay, so with that said, I would like to go into the chat wall right now, and I would like to ask you all, how do you feel about Disney Plus going to release an Ice Age 7 and a Rio 3 coming soon? Are you guys actually excited for that? Are you guys more doubtful? Let me know what you all think on this. Let's see what we got here. Hold on. Here are the comments. Honestly, I have my doubts that Disney would bring back these franchises. Personally, if these rumors are true, I would honestly be okay with another Rio movie since I enjoyed the first Rio and I thought the second film was okay. But with Ice Age, oh hell no. At this point, the Ice Age franchise has run out of ideas and have become worse and worse. Also, if this would happen, the only thing I see this is adding more fuel to the fire of the hatred for Disney closing Blue Sky Studios. Exactly, that's kind of my problem. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. It's the fact that this is just going to add fuel to the fire where people are just going to get more and more upset, and the salt will still be, the salt will still be prominent of the fact that Disney shut down Blue Sky and that they took their franchises to go and make direct-to-home media quality sequels. Like that's the thing that's going to be pretty problematic right now. And I feel like if they're going to be continuing this, then the backlash is not going to die down soon. And by the way, just to clarify, technically, these aren't really, like, I know some people might say that this is a rumor, considering that Disney did not officially say that they're going to be doing this. But then again, considering that the source is from the official production note of the Ice Age Adventures of Buck Wild, I feel like this is more of something that is actually true than it is something that would be considered a rumor. I'm just saying, if this is a rumor, then this is one that I highly believe because the sources are very credible. Let's see now. The timing of a Rio 3 is a rather scummy move, considering that Nimona was supposed to be released at this point had it resumed production on schedule. It might just be me, but I feel like this is proof that Disney cares really little about representation and would rather distance the masses with old IPs like Star Wars and Ice Age than give an original feature that has an LGBT plus lead and couples that are willing to refer to each other as boyfriends, girlfriends, and whatnot. Again, this is another issue that technically with what Disney has done with Blue Sky, it is kind of an understandable move. And I don't think Disney shut down Blue Sky because of Nimona. There are no evidence that this is legitimately the case. I get that it does make Disney look bad that they did shut down a production that has prominent LGBT characters, and that technically behind the scenes, Disney does have a bit of a history of they want to capitalize on the LGBTQ plus community, but they don't want to actually have LGBTQ plus characters in their feature films or TV shows or whatever. So I do understand that, but I don't really think that Disney did so just so they could cancel Nimona. Like, if they wanted to get rid of Nimona, they would have just gotten rid of Nimona instead of shutting down the whole studio. I'm just saying. Let's see now. Let's see here. I'm all for keeping the spirit of Blue Sky alive, but really? A Rio 3 and an Ice Age freaking 7? The Buck Wild movie looks downright horrible, so I'm not all that excited for Ice Age 7. Rio 3, however, I could see it sort of working. Maybe it's a prequel starring Nigel, maybe give a spin-off to Nico and Pedro, or maybe make it a 90-minute film of Blue committing tax fraud. Or just make it 90 minutes. No, you know what it is? It's gonna be freaking Blue investing in NFTs. Like, Blue is entering into the realm of non-fungible tokens to go and sell Blue coins. Oh boy. Anyways, but overall, if they're gonna do this length to keep Blue Sky's ideas, why not resurrect Foster or Nimona or even Anubis? I mean, honestly, you do bring up a good point. And I feel like at this point, Disney only cares about things that are profitable right now. Like for Disney, they only see like the franchises that they have established instead of actually making like new things with Blue Sky, unfortunately. And you do bring up a very good point. Why not actually bring back those old ideas that they actually have, like Anubis or Nimona or Foster or something like that? Like, why not bring those ideas back from Blue Sky? Unfortunately, they're not going to go and do so. And honestly, another thing that I will give credit to you is that you do bring up a pretty good idea where, like, having a Rio spinoff might be, I can see that happen as well, where, like, maybe they'll do a Nico and Pedro spinoff. Like, it is technically what they're doing right now with Buck Wild, where it is more of a spinoff starring some of the comic reliefs. Or if they're doing a Nigel prequel, honestly, I would be so down. Like, Nigel, I personally find, like, Nigel is a freaking great character. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, let's see what we got here. What other comments do we have in store here? Hold on a sec. I just need to go and make a quick refresh. Here we go. Okay, now we got some comments going on. Is there... Oh, God, yeah. Oh, some people... Yeah. Oh, am I lagging right now? Ah, crap. I'm already getting messages that... that apparently I might be lagging. Yeah, keep in mind there is, like, if you can hear me, by the way, yes, there unfortunately is, like, this major snowstorm that happened. Even, like, today when I was at lunch, like, I actually spent a good 30 minutes just on shoveling, and I can tell you right now, that's my major workout for the day. But anyways, let's get back into the comments here. Let's see now. Making an animated film on Night at the Museum, I have no problem. But making more Ice Age movies and a Rio 3, what the hell, Disney? For Rio 3, the macaws are extinct, so how can you make another one? For another Ice Age movie? Oh, hell no. That franchise deserves to stay dead, especially what happened with Ice Age. Therefore, I have no hope. At least Sony made the right move of ending Hotel Transylvania 4 on a high note. On a high note? I'm just gonna say it right now. Oh, hell no. That Hotel Transylvania 4, like, it's very much comparable to Collision Course. I wouldn't say that it's a high note per se. But anyways, or else there gonna be more backlashes like what Disney gonna get making more Ice Age movies. Let's see. I'll read one more comment before we go and move on to our next story here. Did I read this one? Okay, no, I don't think I did. To be honest, I'm kind of excited for a Rio 3. Oh, no. I already did that comment. Oh, there we go. They pulled the plug on Blue Sky, canceling Nimona when it was almost finished, but they'll do more Ice Age and Rio movies. God almighty, are you kidding me? Nimona was almost finished. They could have focused something that was nearly done rather than make something that was dead from the mid-2010s. Why didn't they finish Nimona instead of decided to make more Blue Sky with only 2 movies? Yeah, you do bring up a good point. All right, actually, this is the last comment. I'll go and read this before I move on. Is the animated Night at the Museum thing going to receive backlash, not just because it's been revived, but because it's a Night at the Museum project without Robin Williams, who died before Night at the Museum 3 was released? Will this be an Aladdin 2019 casting controversy? I wouldn't mind another Rio, but please give Ice Age some rest. I like the first 3, but the last 2 to me were just not fun, even in a dumb way. Pardon the pun, but I wish the Ice Age franchise was extinct. Okay, well, just to clarify on the Night at the Museum thing, I think that thing is going to be more of a reboot. I don't think this is going to, like, I could be wrong, but I don't think this is going to be something that they'll be bringing back Ben Stiller or be, like, really stay true to the movies. I think this is going to be more something that will be based on the books and try to go from there. You know, give a little bit of the same treatment that they've done to Diary of a Wimpy Kid. At least that's my theory. I could totally be wrong. Okay. All right, so moving on to our next story. Now, Rio and Ice Age are not going to be the only franchises that are going to be coming back. Now, I know there's been a lot of backlash, especially to the announcement of this, but when it comes to this one, this is actually something that there are some people that are more positive that they will look forward to. Something that has been receiving news that people are actually excited for. It's not necessarily animation related, but it is actually a franchise that many people know and love, especially the fact that, well, it'll give us something exciting to see when Christmas will come around again. And what I'm talking about is the comeback of The Santa Claus. Yes, folks, the Tim Allen classic is gonna be coming back. But not just as a 4th movie or anything like that. What they are gonna do instead is that they are gonna make a limited series. Yes, a Santa Claus mini-series, which will indeed bring back Tim Allen to play his iconic role as Scott Calvin. And from there, there has been no other announcement of what's going to be going on with this, other than the fact that Tim Allen is not going to be starring in this, but he's also going to be executive producing alongside with his co-creator, in which both of these two people created Last Man Standing, Jack Burdett. And there is no release date as of yet, but they did state that they will start filming, or they will start production in March. But we also do have a little bit of a plot line. We do have a bit of an idea of what the story is going to be. And it states here, reading from my source on Variety, it states, in the series, Scott Calvin is on the brink of his 65th birthday and realizing that he can't be Santa forever. He's starting to lose a step in his Santa duties, and more importantly, he's got a family who could benefit from a life in the normal world, especially his 2 kids who have grown up at the pole. With a lot of elves, children, and family to please, Scott sets out to find a suitable replacement Santa, while preparing his family for a new adventure in a life south of the pole. So basically, this is kind of like a full-on finale of the Santa Claus per se, that they're not going to go and end it off with the Santa Claus 3, but instead they're going to do this kind of finale where Tim Allen has to go and find a new Santa that will ultimately go and take his place. Now, just to go and clarify, Santa Claus is not necessarily a holiday movie that I would repeatedly watch again and again, but I do agree that the first one is indeed a classic. That it was back when like Tim Allen was at his prime, when he was highly beloved for movies such as Toy Story, or even especially with Home Improvement, when that used to be his his major show. And when the Santa Claus did come out, like, you did get like a lot of like your Tim Allen fanfare, like Tim Allen being Tim Allen, or in this case, like being Scott Calvin. And in here, when he would become Santa Claus, like you do get a lot of comical moments, but you also get a lot of heartfelt moments as well that actually really did work. Now, when it comes to the sequels, however, admittedly, they're not so great. Like the second one, it's stupid, but I could see how it can be enjoyable in a way where like you can get yourself into the stupidity and have fun with it. Or there is also the other fact, there is also the Santa Claus 3, and that one is just stupid, and it's just not really fun at all. Even with Martin Short trying to be as over the top as possible with Jack Frost. Like, I think honestly, the only thing that I do remember from that movie is just like that little clip in the trailer where one of the elves is just telling him to chill. And then like you got Jack Frost on the side going like, I invented chill. But still, the Santa Claus 3 is a stupid movie and it's bad. And the Santa Claus 2, like, that's another one where it's like stupid, but it can be enjoyably stupid, especially like that's another thing where what I remember the most is something that the trailers keep on repeating and repeating, where like they look at all the Santa rules and then you see Tim Allen just freaking out going, I gotta get married. But yeah, like in the case of the Santa Claus, it is something that I would consider like at least the first movie is definitely a classic. And reading the synopsis here, reading what they want to do with this, like, it does sound pretty nice, but there is also a part of me that I honestly do find that it does sound a little too familiar. Like the thing is, this whole plot line of Santa trying to find a new person to take on the role of Santa Claus, I feel like that is something that we have done a little bit before. And yeah, and I mean, technically, these things are not necessarily considered classics. It is something that, well, in a way, it has already been done. Like, one example, like this whole plot line here, I feel like technically, isn't that technically the plot line of Ernest Saves Christmas, where you got Santa that's trying to look for a new person, trying to play as Santa Claus, or like to ultimately become Santa Claus, and then Ernest is on the side trying to help the whole situation out. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I do feel like that plot line is very similar with what they want to do in Santa Claus. Or there is another one, and honestly, this is like a greater comparison, and this is one that, if it's not a classic, should be considered a classic, Arthur Christmas. Because technically that is kind of the plot line where like not necessarily the main plot line, but it is kind of the established scenario of what is going on in this movie, where in this case, in the case of Arthur Christmas, where they do kind of have this established history where over the years, Santa Claus is not an immortal person, but it's kind of like a noble role that's been like a family role that's been passed down from generation to generation. And the current Santa that is in that movie is going to pass on the ranks to another person, which like you got technically you got Arthur, which is more like the bumbling like youngest son, but then you got the more competent, like more military like older brother of Arthur that like he is really into high tech, and because of the new technology he would be able to deliver presents more efficiently and to go and calculate how good these children have been so that they get their fair share or what they deserve in terms of gifts and presents and all that kind of stuff. So in a way, like, again, it's not something that's entirely like what the Santa Claus is doing on this, but even at that though, like I do find that there are some things that there are some similarities. I think that's the best way to put it. And even in the case here with the Santa Claus though, like it's not the most original idea, but one thing that I will give it is that, you know what, if you're going to officially end off the Santa Claus, if you want to give a proper conclusion to Scott Calvin as Santa, then you know what, maybe this plot line, maybe it does work out, because they like I think honestly that does actually make sense in terms of what they want to do with their Santa Claus lore, because in here considering that Scott Calvin, aka Santa, that he's just an average he is an average guy, he's not necessarily like this immortal man. In here it kind of feels like it does make sense where eventually, like, when he has to, like, eventually he's not going to stay on Earth forever and needs to find someone else to become the next Santa Claus. So from there, I do understand that. And I guess you could say that right now Scott Calvin is like, you know, he wants to spend more, like, it's not necessarily like trying to find another Santa because he's dying. It's more like he wants to find another Santa because he's retiring and wants to spend more time with his family. So, and that's already something that in the movies they have established very well, is that this is something in which Tim Allen has to go and continuously try to handle and try to balance out between his Santa life and his Scott Calvin life, which, you know, handling both at the same time is really not that easy. You know, and honestly, I know it sounds weird, but it's something that I could relate as well. Like trying to have my personal life as Matt Brunet and having my internet life as AniMat, you know, it's not an easy thing trying to balance those two together. So from there, like, honestly, like, even though it's not the most original idea, it does make sense. And I could definitely see how there's a lot of materials here in order to stay true to the tone of the Santa Claus, like having, having like that good amount of heart, that good amount of comedy. So I can honestly see this, like, maybe it could actually work out, or maybe it's just not necessarily going to be as strong or as memorable, at least compared to the first Santa Claus. But ultimately, we'll probably have to wait and see. Like, maybe this could be good, maybe it might not, but you know what? It's going to be interesting, and especially that this will bring back Tim Allen as his iconic role as Scott Calvin. I think that's going to be the one thing people will definitely be excited about. So, again, just to confirm, there are no release dates revealed as of this recording, but you know, it sounds interesting. I'll be curious about this one. Okay. So with that said, I would like to go into the chat wall, and I would like to go and ask you all, how do you feel about the Santa Claus? How do you feel about the Santa Claus miniseries? Are you guys excited for it? Are you guys fans of the Santa Claus movie? If so, how do you feel about Tim Allen coming back as Scott Calvin? Let me know what you all think. Okay, so let's see what we got. Anybody? Do we have any comments? No? Chat wall? Are you guys okay? Oh, there we go. Okay. I was worried. I was like, anybody have a comment? Okay, anyways, I see. What do we have? Okay. What the? Well, what is this? Hey, Matt, I was your... Sorry, it was just a weird comment. Hey, Matt, I was your fan since 2012 until I was scared when you become controversial in 2016, which I have no choice but to block you, that you have become a horrible person. What? Isn't that a bit exaggerated there? Until today, I decided to unblock you, that you are not that kind of horrible person, which I'll give you a neutral pass. Okay, thank you, I guess. All right, kind of weird, but anyways, we're going off topic here. Let's see. Well, this is surprising, yet the plot is very similar to the concepts of another small TV series from the 90s called Hammerman, the MC Hammer cartoon, which we will have to wait and see how the show is executed. All right, fair enough. Let's see. The Santa Claus miniseries got me a bit interested. I have seen the whole trilogy, including the first film, which I grew up with the most, and watch it every year for Christmas. First movie, good. Second film, okay. Third film, bad. Although this miniseries reminds me of the second film, and like you said with Arthur Christmas, I do have hope that this series will be decent and end off on a high note, unlike the third film. Yeah, it's basically, it's basically to give a second chance to the Santa Claus franchise, because like you don't want to end, you don't want to end off like on a bad movie. You don't want to be like Ice Age. You don't want to be like Hotel Transylvania and end off on such a ridiculously low note to the point where people just want to say like good riddance. Like get a second chance to redeem yourself and have a proper conclusion that people can appreciate. Let's see what we got here. I like the first two movies, and we don't talk about the third film. But this, I'm glad that Tim Allen is coming back for an encore, but the story sounds really generic. Heck, I think I was already done with Arthur Christmas, but maybe it'll grow more intriguing as time goes on, so I'll keep an eye on it, just as long as they don't bring back that freaky as hell fireplace from the third film. But with that said, I'll close this off with a resounding Yeah, but I will say this, though, that one thing that does make this pretty interesting, you got to keep in mind, it's the fact that this is going to be a mini-series. It's not going to be a feature film, so that could actually help things out with the storytelling to be a bit more unique and to be a bit more interesting. So, we'll see that maybe the mini-series aspect could actually help things out. Let's see. I'm not really into the Santa Claus, but bringing it back as a series is a good idea. The only thing I'll say is that the plot reminds me too much of Noel, which is another movie on Disney+, but other than that, I'm on board with it despite not being that into it. Oh god, I almost forgot about Noel. Does anybody even remember Noel or have even seen Noel? I honestly, I think even Disney is trying to bury that on the ground, honestly. Like, oh boy, like that was like, yeah, there were a lot of like very interesting things that Disney did put out on Disney Plus on launch day, but Noel was like, I think many people said that Noel was the weakest among them all. Let's see. What else do we have here? I've only seen the first Santa Claus as a kid, and admittedly, my memory of that film is not great. Maybe another rewatch can bring back some delight. I did see a commercial for Santa Claus 2, but not the film itself. Santa Claus 3 was by my childhood radar, but perhaps I'll check them all. Yes, even the third one. Mainly because one of my favorite actresses, Liliana Mummy, the voice of Lenny in The Loud House, was in the last two Santa Claus movies. Maybe I'll take a look at this series when it's out. All right, fair enough. I think I'll read 2 more comments before we go. All right, here we go. I love watching the Santa Claus during December. The first movie was amazing. The second movie was okay, and the third movie was meh. With this, however, might become interesting for me. Even though the plot of it is repetitive, I might be able to give it a watch. But I'd rather not see Martin Short as Jack Frost. All right, and one more here. I'm actually very conflicted. Personally, when it comes to the Santa Claus movies, I really like the first movie. The second film is okay, and the third is bad. while I do think the passing of the torch idea has been done before, I think Tim Allen could bring something fun with it. But I also feel like this is another attempt for Disney to capitalize on their nostalgic properties. So overall, we'll see what happens. Oh yeah, I mean, like, there's no denying that Disney is indeed doing that because of nostalgic purposes. It's for the same reasons why they're bringing back Enchanted and why they're bringing back Hocus Pocus. And I mean, if they're at that point where they're going to go and bring back those old franchises, why the fridge not also include Santa Claus into the mix? And so, folks, it is now time that we shall get into the grand finale. And oh boy, I'm going to end this off on a truly crazy one. This is one that it has layers upon layers of a story, but yeah, like at first you might not necessarily understand it, but sit tight, people, because there's actually there's a lot more to it, and you'll see the amount of craziness that this has. Like, you'll understand why I needed to include this, not just because this is a story from the Disney parks, but this is a story that already could be one of the craziest things that happened at Walt Disney World. And so let's go right into EPCOT. Now, what's happening at EPCOT right now is that they are currently having their International Festival of the Arts. And usually EPCOT would have these festivals from time to time, nothing necessarily too big, but they would go and, they would honestly go and have these special little festivals just to add a bit of decoration onto EPCOT. They would have a variety of this. And chances are, if you've been at EPCOT a few times, then you've probably been in there once where there was a festival, whether it be the Arts Festival, the Food and Wine Festival, the Garden Festival, and several others. Now, this is something that they would commonly do. But this year, for the International Festival of the Arts, not only would they present a wide variety of different artists and present their paintings and their artworks based on Disney properties and Disney rides and all that kind of stuff, but they would go and have special food offerings. And this year, not only do they have a wide variety of different foods that has been inspired by Encanto, but one thing that caught a lot of people's attention is actually a popcorn bucket in the shape of Figment, the lovable purple dragon from the attraction Journey into Imagination, and debatably one of the most beloved characters that is from the Disney parks. Like, one of the very rare Disney ride characters that has a massive and prominent fan base. I don't think a lot of characters could have that title. Like, maybe the Dog with Keys or the Hitchhiking Ghost or the Hatbox Ghost and stuff like that, but really, Figment is definitely up there as one of the most popular, if not the most popular. And when it comes to Figment right over here, they decided this year, considering that they've often used him as the mascot for the Festival of the Arts. In fact, Figment is often considered to be the unofficial mascot of EPCOT. They would go and decide, let's go and actually make a popcorn bucket based on Figment. And considering that Figment does have a massive fan base, considering that people adore Figment, and I'll admit I am actually one of those Figment fans, but I wouldn't say that I am this much of a fan of Figment, where people really love the idea of having a popcorn bucket of Figment, that it ended up causing major lines. And when I say major lines, we're talking about 7-hour lineups for a popcorn bucket. Let me repeat that. A 7-hour lineup so that people can go and buy a popcorn bucket in the shape of a purple dragon. I wish I was making this up, but no. This is actually the case, and there have been some photographic evidence of people just lining up all around the EPCOT theme park just so they could get their hands on a popcorn bucket. And by the way, just want to say right now that nowadays, as I'm recording this, of course, it is, the lineups have like really toned down. They're not as long nowadays, but they could still have some pretty big lineups where you do have to wait over 60 minutes. And just by looking at these pictures right over here, like you see just people lining up all across EPCOT, like right at the front, or like you would have a whole bunch of shots where like you see these giant lines, and like you have the the spaceship Earth that's just right behind them. And of course, like you got Figment's home at Journey into Imagination, where people are lining up like crazy over there. And then like you got more lineups that are just spanning across one side of the picture to the next. Yeah, and then like you even got lineups that go as long as like the entrance of EPCOT right over here. Like you see all these people just lining up like crazy, and like more major lineups. It's just, and yeah, and like you got one cast member has to go and hold up a sign to say that the line starts here. That, yeah, like halfway across the whole attraction, that the line actually starts here if you want to get your frickin' popcorn bucket. And again, this is not a lineup for a ride. This is a lineup to go and buy a $25 popcorn bucket. And the craziest thing of all this is that not all these people are there to go and buy a Figment popcorn bucket because they love Figment. Unfortunately, some people are paying attention to the whole craze of the situation, and unfortunately, this does result in the case of having grifters. Now, what I have here is just a listing on eBay. Like, I'm just on ebay.com, and I just wrote down Figment bucket, and this is the result that you get. And keep in mind, this bucket, you can actually go and buy it at EPCOT for just $25. And right now, the prices have been ridiculous. Like, check out the prices that we got right over here. We got $125, $130, $100, $185. By the way, all this, that does not include shipping. Another one, $125. You got $150. $130. Like, you got some that are you got some that are under 100, but then again, these are those that like they're in like major bidding wars. Like another one, $125. It's ridiculous the way that people are putting this at such a stupidly expensive price. And again, like, this does not count shipping, so you probably would have to go and spend like $10 or $20 or $30 extra. If you're not near Walt Disney World and you want a Figment popcorn bucket, then you got to spend a lot of money on this. But then again, I will say this, considering right now, or yeah, actually I'll mention this right now, considering that like you probably have noticed, like amongst all these, there are a few that people did not actually list like a Figment popcorn bucket, but instead there are some that you'll find they're just posting drawings of a Figment popcorn bucket. That you'll see like a few where people are just posting up like just like these little drawings of like their interpretation of a Figment popcorn bucket. What the fridge is this all about? Like, has it gone ridiculous to the point where now people are actually selling drawings of Figment popcorn buckets? Well, there is actually a little bit of an extra story with that. And that is actually because there was one person who like in a way kind of started all this and started a ridiculous trend on eBay. Now, this is actually a girl named Julia who decided to have a little bit of fun with the whole craze with the Figment popcorn buckets and decided to go and post on eBay a bad drawing of a Figment popcorn bucket and decided to go and like put up an auction. And that thing got popular really quickly, where people were just bidding and bidding and bidding and bidding, and it even went up to $600. But then it got even crazier, where the bidding went up to $10,000. I kid you not. Someone went and wrote on the bid that they would spend $10,000 on a bad drawing of a Figment popcorn bucket. Now, you might be wondering at this point, did this actually happen? Did the person actually go and sell that drawing of a Figment popcorn bucket for $10,000? The answer is no. That's not the case. That is not what actually happened. In fact, the girl Julia, who did make the drawing, she actually did put up a statement. And by the way, this is the part where you're really gonna like Julia here. Like you're gonna be happy of what Julia is doing, and that she'll actually like this. Oh crap, is it lagging again? Hold on, can you guys hear me? Schnut, I didn't expect lagging would be such a problem here today. Schnut. Yeah, keep in mind, again, there is a snowstorm that is happening. So it's unfortunately something that is beyond my control. But hey, the good news is that maybe like when this will be up on YouTube or like on like podcast services, like you'll hear it in full without much interruption. So anyways, okay, if you guys can still hear me right now, I'm just gonna go and read what Julia mentioned on Twitter, as she states, "When I put up the auction for the Figment sketch, I had two goals. One, give people some joy about a very silly situation involving popcorn buckets, and two, get a bit of money going to charity. For all the emails and messages I've received, goal one has been accomplished, and I'm so happy that this silly thing brought joy to so many people around the world. So that leaves goal two. Last night, a series of unusual bids came in that pushed the price from $600 to $10,000 in a matter of minutes. It didn't feel right, so I ended the auction and sent an invoice to the winner. The winner messaged me to let me know that the bid was placed accidentally by someone else and that they need to cancel their bid, which they are allowed to do according to eBay rules. Now, from there is also the extra asset of what she is going to do now with the bad Figment drawing, or with the bad Figment popcorn drawing. And she actually does have a plan that will stick to the same goal of giving the money to charity, where she does state over here. Julia states, "I'm not quite that creative, so what I'm going to do is take the original artwork, make 100 photocopies, and number them from 1, the original, and 2 to 101, the copies. I'll be keeping 101 because going 101 feels like an accurate description of this. The other 100 items will be placed individually in mailing envelopes and sealed. They'll be shuffled up so I won't know which ones has the real print and which ones have the copies. On Tuesday, January 18th, 2022, at 12 p.m. Eastern, I'll be listing an item on eBay of the bad Figment sketch artwork with a buy it now price of $10. Like the original listing, 90% will go to Habitat for Humanity. Now, if all 100 copies are sold, that means Julia would have raised $900 to Habitat for Humanity. So honestly, that right there, I just want to begin by saying that, really great on Julia for actually finding light on this situation. And I'm not gonna lie, after reading this, I kind of contemplated that maybe I should go and actually buy one of these bad Figment drawings. Like, I know it sounds weird, but the fact that it is going to charity, and it is something that did start a little bit of a trend on eBay, like, honestly, it's all for fun and it's all for a good cause. So, honestly, it makes me feel like maybe I want to go and participate onto this. Like, maybe I'll go and help out and give some money to see if maybe I'll be the lucky one to actually get the original drawing, or that if not, well, then at least the money will go to Habitat for Humanity. So honestly, it's such a nice little thing. And if you guys want to do so as well, honestly, go ahead on I highly encourage that you go and do so. And if not, if you don't want a drawing, then you could just directly donate to Habitat for Humanity. So already right there, it's such a nice thing to do right there. So I thought I would just go and add that extra message, extra comment on what's going on with the whole Figment craze. But yeah, oh my God, this is just insane. This is just crazy hearing a 7-hour lineup for a popcorn bucket. Like normally, if you would hear that there's a 7-hour lineup at Walt Disney World, you would be expecting for like one of their major attractions. Like you would expect maybe like at Epcot, it would be for the new Ratatouille ride, or it would be for the Frozen ride, especially like for Frozen, those ones, like that ride would be notorious for having such giant lineups. But no, this is for a godforsaken popcorn bucket. And may I add, actually, you know what? Let me just present this in a special little way. Hold on a sec.
I just need to go in and comment on this. My ride in Journey into Imagination, never once did it ever get a 7-hour lineup. I've never seen a 7-hour lineup in my life, let alone for Journey into Imagination with Figment. And yet, now that I'm a popcorn bucket, now I get the 7-hour lineups. Why?
It's just absolutely ridiculous. And it really shows how crazy that some Disney park fans can get. The fact that they're even willing to stand on a lineup for hours just for a popcorn bucket, not for a ride, but for a bucket, really shows the crazy dedication that these fans can get. But at the same time, it also reveals a very massive problem when it comes to the Disney parks community, especially when they would have a very bad case of grifters. This honestly reminds me so much of the whole Splash Mountain controversy. You guys probably remember a few years back when Disney announced that they're going to be replacing the theming of Splash Mountain to The Princess and the Frog. And from there, the grifters reacted by buying so much merchandising of Splash Mountain and buying the characters of like Brer Rabbit, Brer Fox, and Brer Bear, and whatever merch would have those characters, they would list them for crazy prices. Like if you want to get like a Funko Pop of Brer Rabbit, then already that's just $150 alone. It's ridiculous the way that they would go and exploit the controversies, and it's honestly disappointing to see as well, especially when it comes to the whole the Figment popcorn bucket. Again, it's something that you could get for $25 at Walt Disney World, but on eBay the average price is going for like $125. And honestly, I feel like that's a little bit ridiculous. That's honestly pretty greedy of people to do so. Like if you're gonna buy a Figment popcorn bucket, like, are you really, like, is it even, like, at that point, is that even worth it as well? Is it even worth it so that you, like, is it even worth it to wait hours in a major lineup at Walt Disney World just so you can go and buy a popcorn bucket in which you'll end up getting, like, $100 in terms of revenue? That's like that's low. That's like a cheapskate level of low, and it's honestly kind of despicable in a way. And I feel like this is kind of an issue that Disney should bring up eventually, because like considering that like a lot of these park goers are becoming grifters, and like not just with the Splash Mountain stuff, but also now with the Figment popcorn bucket. I feel like it is a little bit of a problem that people are really exploiting on like major crazes that are happening at the Disney parks. But honestly, the one thing that I will say about this whole controversy, what is honestly a little interesting, and by the way, just a side note, like, of course you do have exceptions where people actually do good with this, like with Julia, with what she did with the Figment drawing, but the whole thing with the like selling the popcorn buckets and the other Disney merch for abnormal prices, it's like it's low. It really is. But anyways, as I was saying, one thing that I will say, like a big takeaway from all this, the fact that people are willing to wait 7 hours for a lineup, like to wait 7 hours just so they can get a popcorn bucket in the shape of Figment, it kind of really does say a lot about how Journey into Imagination is still up and running. I think like now I'm starting to understand more why Disney has done nothing to Journey into Imagination with Figment, because for a while a lot of people have talked about rumors of the day that maybe they will take down Journey into Imagination and replace it with something else, like either make another like a different kind of update for the ride, or they would go and like retheme it to something like Inside Out, stay with the theme of imagination or something like that, but they would go and have like prominent Disney characters that appeared in movies, like what I said before with Inside Out. But the thing is that now it's starting to make more sense why Figment is still around and why he is still in that attraction. Because, well, number one, when it comes to Disney, they never want to go and actually spend a lot of money on EPCOT, because they would keep on promising to make major updates and stuff like that, especially like nowadays with Project Gemini. Like, the thing is that we're starting to realize more and more that really, Disney doesn't really want to spend all that much money on trying to really make a brand new Epcot. They'll add in like rides such as Ratatouille or the upcoming Guardians of the Galaxy ride, but they'll never make like a full-on update of the entire theme park. So already, like, they don't want to spend all that much money in the first place, but also Figment is a popular character. It's because there is so much fanfare with Figment that people love the character so much, including Dreamfinder from the original attraction, that it's still he is still a massively marketable character in which merchandising can still fly off the shelves to this day. And so, when it comes to Journey into Imagination, they would go, like, if ever they would do a significant update, then they would have to keep Figment. They would have to let him stay in there, because they know that if they are going to update the ride and they're going to get rid of Figment, then there are going to be tons of people who would be massively upset, that they would be heavily disappointed, and Disney would receive even more backlash because of the fact that they got rid of such a fan favorite character. So yeah, and again, if they are going to make an update on it, then it's going to be a new ride that will be starring Figment. So yeah, honestly, I just wanted to talk about this because of how ridiculous the whole thing is. And I think this is going to be remembered as one of like the craziest moments that happened in a Disney park this year, where people would just line up for literally hours just for a popcorn bucket. Out of all things, a freaking popcorn bucket. Who knew that popcorn buckets could be something that like is so high on demand? Like, I get it. I adore popcorn, and even popcorn for me is my go-to snack at the Disney parks. But still, though, I didn't expect people would be this crazy, not for popcorn, but for the thing that holds the popcorn. All right, so with that said, I would like to go into the chat wall, and I would like to ask you all, what do you all think about this whole controversy? What do you all think about the whole craze of the Figment popcorn bucket? Do you guys see the whole situation? Do you understand? Are you willing to wait in a major lineup that spans for hours just so you can get a popcorn bucket in the shape of Figment? Let me know what you think. Let's see what we got here. A 7-hour wait for just a petty popcorn bucket. People are really desperate for such a common item. How long would the lines be? 5 miles? 8? Get real, folks. There are other merch that can be bought at Epcot and the Disney parks. Very heartfelt move by Julia, by the way. Guys, thumbs up. As for those eBay resellers and grifters, shame on you all. Thanks for today's episode, Matt. Hopefully next time you'll make a talk about Twitter going bazongas about Nakuzo's demon form. I haven't heard about that, but also I just want to like quickly mention this. Okay, I understand about like, yeah, I get it about like giving criticism to the people trying to sell Figment popcorn buckets for like $125 or like a stupid for like selling it for like a stupid amount of money. But honestly, let's not judge the people who would be willing to wait in a massive lineup. Let's not criticize them. Like, that's kind of a bit of a harsh thing at the beginning of that comment, going like, oh my god, they're just petty. It's like they're petty, they're desperate. It's like, okay, like honestly, it's their choice. And I mean, as long as they're not harming anyone, like if they want their popcorn bucket, it's their popcorn bucket. So I honestly, I don't support this behavior. And I mean, if people want their popcorn bucket and they're willing to wait 8 hours or 7 hours for a popcorn bucket, then at that point, like, yeah, it's great. You know, like, that's absolutely crazy, but I'm not going to look down upon you for it. So I just want to make that big clarification there. Let's see what we got here. This is definitely insane. The fact that people are willing to wait that long to get a Figment popcorn bucket. And I really do think the contribution that Julia is doing is really sweet. Also, this is going to show how Figment's popularity has grown over the years, and I actually truly believe this shows why these park goers are desperate for the original Journey into Imagination ride to come back. Oh, absolutely. If there is one change that the Disney park fans desperately want to do, like priority number one, it would be to bring back the original Journey into Imagination ride. Like, that there is no denying. And I mean, I get it. I love Figment. I actually do consider Figment as one of my favorite Disney characters.
In fact, Figment is actually one of the characters that I love impersonating. It's just so much fun to do.
But yeah, like, I get it. But still, though, it's like, that's crazy dedication to wait just for a popcorn bucket. Not to go in a ride, but for a bucket, man. Like, dang, good. You know, if you actually did go in that lineup, if you are one of those people that did stood for hours, like, you know, like, good on you, man. Like, holy crap, you have extreme dedication for Figment. Holy crap. Anyways, that popcorn bucket does look pretty cute, not gonna lie. But I ain't waiting 7 hours for a $25 bucket. Aren't these popcorn buckets available later on, though? Just wondering. I'm sure Charlie from Theme Snark might probably get one. He really loves Figment, huh? Side note, I always want to go to EPCOT, maybe someday if I'm lucky. Oh, absolutely, please. Like, you should. And I'm sure, like, I wouldn't be surprised right now if Charlie already has one at hand that he probably did. Like, he's probably either betting on a popcorn bucket on eBay or is actually buying one and is just waiting for it to ship. Like, I would not imagine that it would, or no, what am I saying? I don't know, words are escaping me, but like, I would not be surprised if he has already done so. I'm just saying. Love you, Charlie, by the way. Your videos are awesome. Anyways, holy Jesus Christ. Now, this is the craziest story I've heard. Seriously, waiting in line for 7 hours to get a Figment popcorn bucket and ordering it online for $100 and something dollars. Count me in. Although I wouldn't get my excitement too high because waiting in line for 7 hours to get a Figment popcorn bucket is a waste of time, and ordering the bucket online with a high price is a waste of money. Though I am curious to try it out. Also, where can I get that Figment figurine? Ooh, that is a very good question. I honestly got that one through my P.O. box. And, like, these Figment figurines, I think, like, these are the original ones. Like, these are, like, original dating back to when EPCOT opened back in the early 80s. So, honestly, the best bet right now would be to go on eBay, unfortunately. But yeah, like, honestly, I feel very fortunate to actually have these Figment figurines. All right, I think I'll read one more comment before we go and cap this off. Holy moly, I'm from Europe, so I don't know much about Figment, but I never knew that his popularity was so large that he would create a 7-hour line. But is his fame really this big, or is it just because grifters want to scam people because of the limited supply? I am glad that someone like Julia was able to find something really good about this situation. As for me, I probably don't need a Figment popcorn bucket. I've already got my Stitch mug from Disney on Ice from over a decade ago. Honestly, I would have to say yes. The fanfare for Figment is huge. Again, not many Disney park characters have the same fan base as Figment. Like, probably even more than, like, some of the characters I've mentioned before. Like, more than the dog with keys. More than the hitchhiking ghost. Like, Figment is probably the most popular Disney park character of them all, like, right now. And again, I do get it. I'm one of those fans. But still, though, I just needed to talk about this because it truly is crazy. Like, this really does define the crazy in AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast. And with that said, folks, that should do it for this episode of AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast. So with that said and done, I would like to say thank you all so much for listening, and thank you all so much for watching, and also be like Julia, and don't forget to go and donate to Habitat for Humanity. It definitely is a great cause. Also, since I am recording this on January 17th, happy Martin Luther King Day. Don't forget to go and raise your voice, because as Dr. King said it himself, that the only thing worse than bad people spreading their hate is good people being silent. So with all that said and done, I would like to say thank you all so much for listening. Thank you all so much for watching. And until next time, see you later, dudes!